Dear students, I am Dr. Y.S. Rajput, Emeritus Scientist working at Animal Biochemistry Division, National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. Welcome to ePathshala. Today I will be teaching one of the very important biochemical technique, that is Western blotting. Western blotting technique has immense resolving power if we compare the resolving power of other biochemical techniques. It has the combination of sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis principles added to the immunological methods, and in combination they enhances the resolving power of this particular technique. Wherever the high degree of resolution is required in identification of any molecule, big molecules like a protein, then Western blotting is the answer, because the resolving power makes it unique in the sense that wherever the disease diagnosis is to be confirmed with a high degree of certainty, then it carries the scientific principles used in separation of molecules based on the charge, as well as the immunological recognition using the antigen-antibody complex. So, seeing this, we have a technique which we will discuss today, that Western blot. So, we will know that how important this technique is, how it is performed, what are the various problems when you execute this technique on the bench, and what could be the possible remedies for it. So, this we will cover in today's lecture in presentation. Thank you. The objective of today's lecture is to make you understand principle of Western blot. I will also be explaining how the technique of Western blot is performed. Focus of presentation will be on problems encountered in transfer of protein from acrylamide gel to membrane. Presentation will highlight practical aspects of this technique. Electrophoretic techniques are very handy for analysis of charged particles. However, the method lacks high degree of resolution when sample is complex and contains molecules of similar in nature. When other scientific principles coupled to electrophoretic resolution, results are derived with high degree of certainty. This is the concept in all blotting techniques, where the molecules separated on gel are transferred to membrane for their subsequent analysis. Western blot refers to transfer of protein from gel to membrane, and this technique was described in 1979 by many workers, but method described by Taubin is most cited. The transfer of protein from gel to membrane is electrophoretically achieved. The use of capillary flow to transfer DNA from agarose to nitrocellulose membrane was first described by Southern in 1975 and thus referred as the Southern blotting. Using the same method for transfer of RNA to membrane is referred as Northern blotting. Now I shall be explaining the purpose of transferring protein from gel to membrane. The technique of sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis uses separation of protein based on their size. Thus, this technique fails to separate proteins which are similar in size. Also, immunological techniques fails to work when proteins are antigenically similar or identical. However, in Western blot, it is possible to identify proteins similar in molecular size but differing in antigenicity, as well as those proteins which are different in molecular size but similar in antigenicity. The technique of Western blot involves three main steps. In first step, protein molecules are separated on acrylamide gel using technique SDS space, which has been separately covered under this paper as independent module. In next step, proteins separated on gel are transferred to membrane. This step is crucial for success of Western blot. Proteins on transfer to membrane are virtually immobilized, and thus these can be detected using specific reaction. In most of the detection methods, antigen-antibody reaction is involved. I will be explaining in brief the principle of HDS space. This technique uses discontinuous buffer system and also uses two gels differing in concentration and layered over another. Lower gel is called running gel or separating gel and is prepared from 7.5 to 15% acrylamide gel. Upper gel is called stacking gel and is prepared from 4 to 4.5% acrylamide gel. pH of these gel is also different. pH of stacking gel is 6.8 while that of the separating gel is 8.3. This buffer system in HDS space is given by Lemley in 1970. Electrode buffer is trisglycine of pH 8.3. In continuation of what has been discussed in earlier slide, I will be explaining the scientific principle of separating proteins in HDS space. When electrophoresis started, ions from stacking gel buffer, that is tris HCl, ions from tank buffer, that is trisglycine, and protein HDS complex start moving into stacking gel. Chloride ion from tris HCl leads, while the glycinate ion trails, and protein HDS complex moves between these two ions. This leads to concentrated protein in a thin zone referred as a stack. The pH of stacking gel is 6.8 and at this pH, net negative charge on glycine is low. Therefore, glycinate ion trails in stacking gel. The protein molecules continue to move in stacking gel until they reach the separating gel. When glycinate ion enters the separating gel, of which the pH is 8.8, it acquires more negative charge resulting in enhanced mobility. In separating gel, glycinate ion will cross protein HDS complex. The purpose of stacking gel is to concentrate proteins before their entry into separating gel. In stacking gel, proteins do not experience friction from the pores of gel. Charge on protein per unit length is constant. Proteins differing in size experience different frictional force in separating gel and thus their relative mobility in electric field is different. This causes their separation. For transfer of protein from gel to membrane, two different types of transfer units are available. These are semi-dry electrophoretic transfer and wet transfer units. In semi-dry electrophoretic transfer, a stack of wetted filter papers surrounding the gel and the blotting membrane is used as a buffer reservoir. The electrodes consist of conductive plates made up of graphite or stainless steel or a conducting polymer. The size of the plate is at least the size of the gel to provide homogeneous electric field. The main advantage of the semi-dry transfer is the ease of handling, the short duration in transfer in the range of 30 minutes, and low buffer consumption. The short electrode distance gives the high voltage gradient despite the low power. Cooling is not normally required since heat production is negligible. Transfer can be performed from several gels at a time. Because of a short electrode distance, voltage applied is most often 10 to 20 volts only. On the other hand, because of the large cross-sectional area, the current passing through the transfer sandwich is fairly high, is in the range of 0.1 to 1 ampere. In wet transfer unit, the transfer cassette is submerged in tank of buffer, gel, membrane, filter paper, porous foam sheet are placed in a defined way in cassette as per the instructions of the manufacturer. This is widely used method. The membrane materials frequently employed in blotting are nitrocellulose, polyvinylene difluoride, popularly referred as the PVDF, and nylon. These membranes are used for binding of proteins and nucleic acids. Blotting membranes are available in rolls as well as in sheets. Nylon membrane is not usually used for proteins. The thickness of membrane is about 100 micrometer. Membranes are also available in different pore size such as 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.45 micrometers. For low molecular weight proteins, that is less than 20 kilodalton, membrane of low pore size, that is 0.1 or 0.2 micrometer, is preferred. Membrane should possess certain characteristics. These must have large surface area to volume ratio. These must have high binding capacity. Also, membranes must be compatible with color reaction performed for detection of proteins. Nitrocellulose is obtained by treating cellulose with mixture of nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Hydroxyl group in cellulose is esterified with nitric acid. Protein and nucleic acids can bind to membrane. Nitrocellulose paper is most frequently used membrane. The binding of protein to nitrocellulose membrane is hydrophobic. High salt and low methanol concentrations improve protein immobilization to the membrane. These are available in different pore size of 0.1 or 0.2 micrometer or 0.45 micrometer. For electrophoretic transfer of small proteins, membranes with 0.1 or 0.2 pore sizes are selected. If membranes stick to low concentration gel after transfer, membranes with pore size of 0.45 micrometers are selected. A drawback with nitrocellulose membrane is that they are brittle on drying. Nitrocellulose membrane are not optimal for electrophoretic transfer of nucleic acids, as high salt concentrations that are required for efficient binding of the eluate will elute all of the charged nucleic acid fragments. The other membrane which is in use is polyvinylidene fluoride, that is a PVDF. PVDF membrane is Teflon type polymer composed of basic repeating unit of CH2CF2. It is produced by polymerization of vinylene difluoride. Its melting temperature is 177 degrees centigrade. It has good mechanical strength. PVDF is also less brittle than nitrocellulose membrane. Proteins interact with polymer non-covalently through dipolar and hydrophobic interactions. PVDF is chemically compatible with aqueous buffer systems. PVDF is resistant to most organic solvents and it can withstand harsh chemical conditions in which nitrocellulose membrane dissolve or decompose. These membranes are expensive. Some PVDF membranes have additional components. PVDF can also be casted on polyester web. The web does not interfere with the electrobloating or alter the characteristics of the PVDF. PVDF membrane is compatible with protein staining and immunochemical protocols. 0.2 micrometer pore size is suitable for Western blot. The membranes with high internal surface area bind substantially more protein as compared to membranes with low internal surface area that binds to around 130 microgram of BSA per centimeter square. Low internal surface area membranes usually function better in immunodetection. They are comparatively easy to block and antibodies are able to better penetrate large pore structure. Membranes with high internal surface structure are more difficult to block effectively and less open pore structure often limits antibody accessibility. These are used for amino acid sequencing and amino acid analysis. For these applications, blocking is not required. Immobilin CD is PVDF membrane in which surface is chemically modified to have cationic charge. Although hydrophobic and dipolar interactions with immobilin CD may contribute to protein binding, the primary binding interaction is ionic. Higher internal surface membrane and immobilin CD are suitable for amino acid sequencing or amino acid analysis. Dear students, so far I have covered the scientific principles involved in sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. I have also given you a brief account of the various transfer units available which are used for the Western blotting technique. These includes the dry wet transfer, these includes the wet transfer units. I have also given you the detailed account of the various membranes which are used in the Western blotting techniques. Even I have given an account of which are the most suitable membranes for the Western blotting. Now my focus will be on more on the practical aspects of this particular technique, and this will be explained now. This explains the detailed sequence of steps used for performing Western blot. First step in sequence is preparation of sample, which involves extraction of protein from biological sample. This is followed by separation of proteins on HDS phase, then transfer of protein from gel to membrane, then blocking of membrane, then treating membrane with primary antibody, then subsequently treating membrane with antibody enzyme conjugate. Finally, membrane is treated with substrate and it results in color development. Sample is prepared by homogenizing tissue with sample buffer, which essentially has tris sodium dodecyl sulfate, glycerol, dithiotretol, and bromophenol blue. Sample is centrifuged. Protein extracted from sample is boiled for 5 minutes and used for loading in HDS space. Running gel of desired concentration is prepared by mixing appropriate volumes of different solutions. Acrylamide, bisacrylamide mix, running gel buffer, HDS, distilled water are added to conical flask and degassed. Then ammonium persulfate and tamide are added and contents are mixed gently. With the help of dispenser, the running gel is delivered to sandwich to a level about 3 cm below the top of rectangular plate. Air should not be trapped while filling the sandwich with running gel mix. A small volume of water or a overlay buffer is layered over the gel solution. This prevents exposure to exposition and keeps the gel surface flat. Stacking gel of 4% concentration is prepared by mixing appropriate volumes of solution as shown in table. The preparation of stacking gel solution is similar to preparation of running gel solution. After removal of water or overlay buffer, stacking gel solution is layered over the running gel. Appropriate comb is inserted into stacking gel to make wells for sample application. Comb is removed after polymerization of gel. 5 to 20 microliter of sample is applied in each well. Electrophorese is carried out at constant voltage of 50 volt till sample crosses stacking gel. When sample enters running gel, voltage is increased to 100 volt. Complete electrophoretic run takes around 2.5 to 3 hours. During electrophoresis, temperature is kept low by circulating water in electrophoretic assembly. After electrophoretic run, stacking gel is removed. This depicts how filter paper, acrylamide gel, membrane filter paper are layered in sequence for putting them in transfer cassette. Transfer buffer is tris glycine buffer of pH 8.3 containing 20% methanol. Methanol does a number of effects. It removes SDS from gel and from protein SDS complex. It also decreases pore size of gel. It may also precipitate large size proteins within gel. Low molecular weight proteins require methanol for elution of protein from gel. Electrophoretic transfer is carried out at constant voltage of 30 volt overnight. Protein sample and molecular weight markers are loaded in separate lanes. Membrane portion containing markers is cut from rest of the membrane and stained with Pons US dye. Proteins on membrane are detected by using immunological reagents. Visualization of antigen requires blocking of membrane, treating membrane with primary antibody, which is specific to individual protein in sample. Then membrane is washed and then treated with anti-antibody peroxidase conjugate. Again after washing, the membrane is treated with substrate diaminobenzidine containing hydrogen peroxide till the brown bands becomes visible. One can also use anti-antibody alkaline phosphatase conjugate for visualization of band. This will require treating the membrane with substrate bromochloroindolyl phosphate and nitro-blue tetrazoline. Light violet color blots appear against light background. There are different kinds of problems in SDS space. Problems encountered in SDS space are listed and their solutions are defined. For example, if resolution of proteins is not proper, then you must select proper gel concentration. In die front is convex shape. Arrangement should be made to dissipate heat during electrophoresis. If gel is not polymerized properly at edges, degassing of solution is required. All solution must be brought to room temperature before preparation of the gel mix. There are different kinds of problems in transfer of proteins. Problems encountered are listed and their solutions are defined. For example, if transfer of protein is poor, then lowering gel or methanol concentration or both can help in problem of poor transfer. If transfer of high molecular weight protein is poor, reducing gel and methanol concentration can be helpful. If transfer of low molecular weight protein is a problem, then avoid excessive washing of the gel, and these problems can be solved if these are of this nature. Dear students, if I want to summarize what I have talked, I have given a detailed account of theoretical and practical aspects of Western blotting technique. This technique, as you might be now clear, has a very powerful tool for identification and characterization of molecules. Because of this reason, this technique is widely used in diagnosis of disease, identification of molecules, whether these are antigenically similar or not, even for identification of expressed proteins in the recombinant DNA technology. Besides that, this technique is also used for knowing whether the protein molecules are antigenically similar or not. But one thing should be very clear to you, that this technique is a multi-step. If error committed in one step will finally result in fertile results. So doing STS nicely, then transferring the proteins from gel to the membrane, and finally their detection. These are very three crucial steps in overall Western blotting technique. So my suggestion will be that since the methodology is long, methodology is expensive, one should do each step sincerely and carefully, taking all the precautions. Most of the time, the problem comes in the transfer of the proteins from gel to the membrane. Sometimes poor transfer is there, sometimes no transfer is there. I have given these aspects in detail earlier, but be very clear that overall purpose of this Western blot has to have a complete transfer of proteins from gel to the membrane, then using the written methodology or appropriate methodology, using immunological tools for detection of the molecules on the membrane. Besides this Western blotting techniques, besides identifying molecules based on the immunological reactions, this can be also used for sequencing of the proteins, protein analysis on the membrane, and even detection of the carbohydrate moiety in glycoproteins once the proteins are transferred from gel to the membrane. So that way, this technique is very versatile. I hope you have enjoyed my lecture, and I am also sure that you have improved your knowledge on this particular important technique. I expect to meet you on some other module, and where we will continue to interact with you in enriching your knowledge on biochemical techniques.